Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today we are here with the facelifted 2024 Alfa Romeo Stelvio here in the Veloce trim. We have a gorgeous shade of Alfa Rosso paint, all new headlights, a little bit of a reshaped bumper, but the same fantastic formula that the Stelvio has been successful with. It has a fantastic chassis, a very potent 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and a gorgeous design that I think is aging so well and has just been nipped and tucked to perfection with this facelift. Sure, the Stelvio isn't perfect in every area, but it still stands out in the market of a very crowded, compact, luxury performance SUV segment. I've been living with this Stelvio for the past week now, really enjoyed driving it. It's just a blast around some corners, and I just can't stop looking at it because it's just a great looking SUV. So as always, guys, I'm going to take you on a full tour and review of this 2024 Stelvio Veloce, what's new, what isn't new, and how it has been living with it over this past week. Let's go dive in. Okay guys, let's go take a tour of what's under the hood of this Stelvio, because not much has actually changed in this department. Okay guys, so under the hood here we have the tried and true GME T4 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and this has been the same engine in the Stelvio and the Giulia since they launched, and it's still a pretty fantastic engine, and it has made its way throughout the Stellantis lineup now. 280 horsepower in this application with around 306 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a ZF 8-speed automatic gearbox, and it is paired to an all-wheel drive system. And you have to remember the Stelvio is on a true performance-y platform. Alfa Romeo's chief engineer came from Ferrari, and as we all know, it's based on the Giulia architecture, which was co-developed with Ferrari engineers way back in the 2010s era. And you can see that performance heritage right up front here. You can see how that engine is mounted very far back in the engine bay, nice and tucked behind the front axle, and that's going to help with weight distribution for the Stelvio. Other fun facts about the Stelvio: we have a carbon fiber prop shaft, which is really cool to help reduce weight in the drivetrain department, help get all that power to the ground as possible. And it is generally rear-wheel drive most of the time, and it will be sending power to the front wheels when needed. And since we have the Veloce model, this one does have a limited slip rear differential. Okay guys, so what's new with the Stelvio for 2024? Honestly, not too much. I'm surprised that Alfa Romeo didn't go a little bit further for this more in-depth refresh that they did for the Stelvio, but up front we can see a little bit of those changes, and they're primarily with the headlights. These are all new headlights for 2024, and they come both on the Stelvio and the Giulia sedan, and I honestly think they look fantastic. They're now in line with Alfa Romeo's new style language, and it's also matching the newer Tonale's headlights as well. So we kind of see this Tre Lobo style design here. So that essentially means these three individual headlight elements here, I believe they are incorporating new LED matrix technology as well in some select markets that is legally allowed. And there's some fun little Easter eggs in here. We have a little Alfa Romeo script on the side right next to the indicator repeater. We also have a quadrifolio 4-leaf clover in there as well. Even though this isn't the quadrifolio model, Alfa Romeo decided to put a little bit of an Easter egg in the Stelvio's headlights, which is really cool. We also see a little bit of a lower redesign on the bumper grille area. Not the grille itself, the traditional V-shaped Alfa Romeo grille is still there. But this lower area has gotten a little bit of a redesign, but again, nothing too crazy. We can see our radar sensor here with an Alfa Romeo script on it, which is a really cool little touch. And I think the design of the Stelvio is still absolutely fantastic. It's very clean. I think it's almost timeless, which is hard to say about a lot of these SUVs on the roads today. And they didn't really need to change much, I think, in terms of design. With this Veloce model, we are getting full blacked out trim around the entire exterior of the Stelvio, everything from the grille to the side, and I think it looks really fantastic. I also love these black roof rails as well as the massive panoramic roof. This one does have optional 21-inch 5-hole wheels in this kind of dark satin finish. Really nice looking design. I really love Alfa Romeo's kind of hole style wheels, especially when they're up almost 21-inch. I believe standard you'll get 19-inch wheels on the Stelvio Veloce, but I think these are an essential touch. We also have a red Alfa Romeo brake caliper as well as the Alfa Romeo script on there as well, and this one's rocking Continental cross contact rubber. It's not the most aggressive tire that you should be putting on this vehicle for like the best kind of performance, but we are in the winter, so it's better to have a little more tread on this tire right now for the all-weather conditions. Now, while I think the Stelvio is a really fantastic SUV, one of its more downsides, I would say, is it isn't the most spacious SUV in this class. So let's go check out the trunk space right now. I'm going to do that by opening up it from the key fob. Full power tailgate, which is fantastic. Alfa Romeo did give me a de-ice scraper here for the weekend just in case it snowed, which I believe we are expecting at some point. But you can see back here, it definitely isn't the largest rear trunk. Something like an X3 is going to offer way more space back here, but you sacrifice some things for performance, I guess, right? A little bit of some space down here. No spare tire on this one. You do have a fix-a-flat kit, I believe, in an inflator. I do like what's going on back here, though. We have these tie-down points that are metal on all four sides over there. I believe this is our subwoofer for our Harman Kardon audio system, which is an option. And we do have this upper cargo cover, which is nice. You can remove it, I believe, if you need to have a little bit more of a taller space. Now also back here, we can see our releases to fold the rear seats down. We also do get a 12-volt socket and LED lighting. Folding the seats down is very easy in the Stelvio. You literally just pull this lever and they should come loose. And then you can just go ahead and fold them down. Same thing goes with the passenger side. Now, you do have to move your front seats up a little bit, but once those seats are completely folded down, you're gonna get more storage in the rear of the Stelvio. Power closing tailgate as well. Okay guys, let's go take a tour of the rear seats of the Stelvio because it's a little bit of a tighter space back here as well because this platform isn't the largest. So back here we do have very nice materials. This one does have the optional extended kind of leather and luxury package inside. So we have full leather up here, which feels really nice. Real aluminum accents as well as aluminum door pulls. Very nice door panel actually. A lot of nice textures and materials going on here. Speaker grill down here, though I do wish this little storage cubby would be bigger. It's unfortunately a little bit tiny. You also have a release here to fold these seats down, which is nice, so you don't have to go to the trunk to do that. We can see we have the optional red leather interior option, so let's hop inside. Very easy to get in and out of here. We have a nice wide opening, which is very nice. Let's hear this solid thunk from the Giorgio architecture. Very solid from that. One more time. Very nice, solid thunk there. This is a very stiff chassis. So what are we going on back here with this space? Now, this is my seating position. I am 6 feet tall for reference, and I do fit comfortably behind myself, which is nice. A huge amount of foot space, actually, which I really like. I can get very comfortable back here. I have a lot of knee room, and you can see there's some sculpted out bits back here if you needed even more knee room. You also have these little storage trays back here, cubbies, which have this netting, which I like. Sometimes it's a little bit better than those little leather pouches, which are a little bit stiff and harder to put stuff into. You also have a lot of this like wide foot space back here, though I can definitely see it could get a little bit cramped back here. Headroom wise, I'm doing very well. I would say I have about this much headroom left. Maybe right about here. Let's check that again. Yeah, just right about that amount of headroom, which is fine. We do have this massive panoramic glass roof over here, which is fantastic, and you can close it. You do have a support brace in the center, though. It's not completely full glass, but this whole front panel does open, and it's nice, and it extends all the way back to the heads of the rear passengers. We also have some LED ambient lighting in here, and these seats themselves are very nice and comfortable feeling. I love how the leather extends all the way to the end of the door panel as well. Feels very nice. They feel very high quality, these seats. They are heated as well back here. We have heated rear seats, which is nice. 2 USB-A ports, no USB-C back here. And we do have our own kind of circular climate vents, which feel very nice and well damped to move around. There's no kind of temperature control back here though. And you have a little bit of a storage cubby here, but I don't think that's going to be too useful. Things might just fly out. You do have a pretty big hump back here for your drive shaft going to the rear wheels. But honestly, it's not the biggest thing. I've been in some cars where it's even higher and you can't get across. You can definitely try to sit 3 people back here, but let's see. It would be a little bit on the tighter end. They want to straddle the hump, but it's definitely possible. I don't know about 3 full-size adults. It might be a little bit cramped in that department. You have your ISOFIX anchor points down here for your child seats. And you do have this center console here with 2 cup holders, a little bit of like a phone slot. And I love this little Alfa Romeo logo right here. And even the material inside of the seats, not even the leather, is in that same red color, which is really nice. I love this little leather pull to pull it open. And you can see the red contrasting stitching. So this is a very nice cabin. A lot of people are like, oh, Alfa Romeos aren't built or made well. They need to go and sit in the newer ones. These are fantastically made interiors. Really no complaints whatsoever. There's no cheap materials feeling in here. Everything feels very premium, well made, very solid, and well put together, which I really like. You also have a door lock button back here, no unlock, and this LED light will illuminate at night. And of course, your window controls there. But let's hop out of this and go up to the front seat because that is where all of the business is happening in the Stelvio. Getting out is pretty easy as well. Hopping out like that. Nice solid thunk. And let's go hop up to the front seat now. Now getting inside the front of the Stelvio, I just want to show you quick the key fob right here, which hasn't changed. It's an Alfa Romeo specific key fob. It's pretty big actually, but I do like how it feels in the hand. Obviously you have keyless access on this, so you can just put your hand behind that and the door will unlock. Press this button to lock it. The mirrors will fold in, which is nice, and pretty easy to unlock as well. So no complaints with the keyless access system there. Same nice materials on this front door panel as well. All that gorgeous leather and stitching up there. We just have memory seats over here. A nice metal Harman Kardon speaker grill right on the door panel, and as well as a little bit of a larger storage cubby space on the doors and then the rear seats. Very thin Alfa Romeo aluminum side sill here, and we also have these really nice aluminum pedals on the floor. No all-weather floor mats in this particular one, though I do believe those are an option. And here you can check out these absolutely gorgeous front seats. These will have to be one of my favorite seats in the segment right now, just because of their comfortability and incredible support on the sides here. It may not fit everyone if you are a little bit of a larger person, but for me, if you do fit in them, they're so fantastic, especially when you're driving around some corners. I love the Alfa Romeo logo embossed into the headrest right here, and as well as this red contrast stitching. And you also do have a manually adjustable thigh support here, which is pretty common in this class, and of course, lumbar, as well as some other supports here, and you have full power seats, obviously. So let's hop inside. It's a little chilly out today. Another nice solid door thunk there, and here we are inside of the Stelvio for 2024. And right off the bat, you can see the all-new digital dash. So let's start this thing up. We have our lovely Alfa Romeo start-stop switch on the steering wheel. I love that feature. And it all comes to life pretty quickly here. Alfa Romeo chimes going on, and I absolutely love how they have a key holder slot right here. So you can just pop your key in. I love that little tag hanging out, and just always remember to take it with you. I love how they kind of integrated that into the interior. So really all that's new for 2024 is this digital dash cluster. This is the same dash we saw in the Tonale, as well as even the Hornet actually. They did not change this infotainment system. So this is still the older style Alfa Romeo infotainment system where you can have this scroll wheel here, and it is touch, but honestly it's a lot easier to control with the scroll wheel, and it moves a lot quicker than it does with the touch, which is a little bit laggy, a little bit slow, unfortunately, though it does get the job done. We have wired CarPlay in here and not wireless CarPlay, unfortunately, because they couldn't redo this whole dash. Otherwise they would have to crash test the car again because they're changing the structure. It costs just too much money, I think, for the company right now. It's a fine system. I don't really have any complaints about it, other than it's just a little bit slow, but when it's working, I really don't have any issues there. This digital gauge cluster is okay. It's not my favorite one in the industry. I do love how Alfa Romeo kind of put on this unique little skin on it. So we have these older style Alfa Romeo gauges on here, which I think look really cool. You can see Giri, I guess rotations for your RPM gauge, which is kind of funky. Of course, this can change. So you have a little button here on your stock to change the view. So we go from this view, we can go to this more cleaner view here, and we have this very, very clean view here. And these all change depending on your drive mode. So if I go into dynamic, you'll see this will get a little bit more aggressive looking. That also goes for all the other displays as well. So it gets a little bit more aggressive for this one as well. You can see we're in natural and then advanced efficiency. So they all have their own unique look. And these little cards can change here with this little button on the steering wheel. So we're going to change the center card here for driver assist mode. We also can change this little center piece on the right hand side as well to kind of have some different information for some trip information, tire pressure monitor, as well as just a blank screen as well, which I kind of like to keep that one off personally. I like looking at the gauge, but of course that's up to you. Now this steering wheel also has not changed for 2024, and that is perfectly fine. I absolutely love Alfa Romeo's steering wheel. It's one of my favorite steering wheels in the industry. It's such a perfect diameter. It's a perfect fit in the hand. I love these grips and the contoured lines for your hands up here as well. It's just a really nice steering wheel. I think everyone needs to kind of take some inspiration from it. A nice Alfa Romeo badge in the center here, and on our left hand side we have our controls for our upgraded radar cruise control, as well as lane keep assist and following distance. It doesn't have like a full-on steering assist, which is a little bit disappointing, but generally pretty good system here. I love these metal paddle shifters. This is my favorite thing from Alfa Romeo. It's just fantastic feeling. Really nice click to them, and I love how they kind of block the stalks behind it. They're like, this is our priority in this vehicle, not the stalks behind it. But we do have automatic wipers over here. We do have automatic headlights as well, so that's a nice function. And the rest of our headlight controls can be found to the left hand side right here in this little button, as well as to turn off our auto stop start and parking sensor controls there. Pretty simple controls, nothing too crazy. And I love this little cockpit style blending here with the leather into this actual cockpit. So it's very nice screen and layout system. I don't like all the new cars that have this giant one massive panel of screens. I like how it's still separated in this cockpit style. Coming down to our center console, again, nothing has really changed. We've seen all this stuff from the 2020 big interior update, but it's very nice interior. I love this stitching and the leather padding right here. It's perfect for where your knee is placed. I also love that you actually have an area to rest your knee and legs in there, which is really nice. This aluminum material feels fantastic. It is real metal. It gets nice and cold when it's colder in the morning, so you can feel it when you're kind of moving all the buttons around. I think that's a nice touch. This is also metal. Very nice damping to it. It doesn't feel cheap at all, which I think they did a great job on. Huge cup holders here, very deep, and we have a little bit of a smartphone slot there if you want to put that there. You have a USB-A port here as well as your 12-volt socket, and I love that they still have physical climate controls here. Very simple, easy to use. Even though you do have an additional climate menu in this infotainment system, you still have these physical gauges here, which feel very nice and very sturdy as well, so I love that. And close this up. This whole center console area over here is also one of my favorite parts of the design of this interior. Very clean, very simple, but also very effective. We have our shifter here, which is wrapped in leather and stitched. Feels very nice. I love the little Italian flag accent here. Electronic parking brake, and of course we saw our key holder slot right there. Drive mode selector, and then this will be a damper adjustment button if you get the Quadrifoglio or the Estrema model. I believe it's a Competizione one actually now. They changed the name, so that will be an optional adaptive damper one that this one cannot get. We have a physical dial here for our forward and back, as well as volume and turning on and off our stereo system. And I love this control here to control the infotainment system. It's so much easier to use while you're driving. Quick access buttons as well. We also have a wireless charger blended in here, but to me this is pointless because we don't have wireless CarPlay, but you do have it if you need it. Nice big center armrest wrapped in leather, soft and squishy as well, and it doesn't adjust, but I don't think you really need it to. I think it's wide and long enough for all different sizes of people. And here we have a USB-A aux port and a USB-C port. I have this cord plugged in so I can use Apple CarPlay. It's a decent amount of space here. It does get very hot in here, but it's not the deepest amount. You can see down here we have our placement for our key. If the battery dies, and you need to start the vehicle, so you can place it right there, which is nice. This also feels very solid. No complaints there. We do thankfully have a glove box for some more storage, though it's very tiny. Not that much space going on there. I wish they could increase the space. I'm not sure why this whole piece is so thick. They could have opened this up, I think, a little bit. But enough of the minor complaints here. This is a really nice interior. I think it's aged very well. Some things are starting to show their age, but generally as a driver, I have no complaints here. Very good visibility all around. We have power folding mirrors as well as heated mirrors, and both mirrors are actually dimmable, automatic at night, which is fantastic. We also have an auto dimming rear view mirror here, and garage home link is located up here. This kind of center cockpit panels houses all of our lights and our controls for our giant panoramic sunroof up here. And that's pretty much it in here. There's not too much to kind of talk about because they haven't really changed too much. It's some things I wish they changed, but otherwise, like I said, it's a pretty nice space. So let's go take this thing on a drive, because that is where the fun of the Stelvio really begins. A little sporty for you. Now, this one does not have the adaptive dampers. That is going to have to be something you're going to need to get on the Quadrifoglio or the, I believe it's the Competizione now, or Estrema model. That's where you can get those adaptive dampers. But regardless, I don't think it really needs it. The whole point of the Stelvio is to kind of create the Giulia experience with that fantastic Giorgio architecture, fantastic suspension, handling, chassis dynamics in a vehicle that just has a little bit more space. And that's why the Stelvio isn't very high off the ground. It's still pretty low to the ground. And that's all to keep the center of gravity as low as possible and make sure handling is always good. And it has a fantastic sound for this engine. This 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder has been in the Stelvio and Giulia. They did really launch in the Stelvio and Giulia for the FCA/Stellantis group way back when they came out, and it's still going on strong. It's a pretty tried and true engine, I think, at this point. Generally pretty reliable too nowadays. We have a DBX over there and a GLE 63S. Really nice cars out today. And the Stelvio's chassis, steering, ZF gearbox, it creates a fantastic experience altogether, especially in dynamic mode. You can see those shifts are just a little bit more aggressive there. And these paddle shifters are such a fantastic way to be connected with the vehicle. They're huge, aluminum, they feel fantastic, they shift responsively and quickly in accordance with the transmission and all the tuning. And that's really the highlight, one of my favorite parts of the Stelvio, is just this driving experience. Nothing really drives like it. X3s drive great, GLCs are more comfortable, a little bit twitchy sometimes. You have a whole bunch of other competitors as well. GV70 is really a fantastic offering now, but the Stelvio still stands out with this driving dynamics. We have a double wishbone suspension up front, multi-link suspension out back. It's Giorgio architecture, very stiff, good weight distribution, carbon fiber drive shaft in the center to help reduce weight. They've done a lot of things here, and it's been out for a while now, and it still has that core great driving dynamics. And this one does have a limited slip rear differential out back to help better distribute that power as well. Oh, the radar cruise is pretty easy. You just pop this button, set your speed, and you're on. You can change your following distance with these 3 buttons. See, it's alerting us that we're getting close to the left lane there with a little yellow indicator. There's an auto warning you could turn on, but I don't have that one turned on. And on the highway, it is pretty comfortable of a cruiser. It doesn't get the best fuel economy. You might want to pop it into advanced efficiency mode here. That's going to actually reduce your engine torque capability, so you're going to have to really put your foot really far on the pedal to kind of get off going in advanced efficiency mode. It's really kind of a cruising mode to try to achieve the best fuel economy you possibly can. Though generally fuel economy in here isn't spectacular. On a daily basis, you're going to see it around the mid-20s, low mid-20s, especially in city driving. You can see here, we're doing 22.6 mpg live right now, just cruising on the highway. I believe it's on the higher end rated on the highway for around 28, 29 mpg, which isn't too bad for an all-wheel drive model, though some other competitors, German competitors, will be getting some better fuel efficiency with their mild hybrid systems and the such. Easy to cancel our radar cruise as well. And the brakes on the Stelvio are fantastic. The brake pedal might be a little bit weird to get used to at first sometimes. It has this interesting, I believe it's like a brake-by-wire system. It can be a little bit twitchy. But once you get used to it, it's a nice progressive brake pedal. I'm gonna pop back into dynamic mode here. Little tire squeal from the rear tires there going around corners. This thing is just so well planted, and it holds a corner just fantastic for an SUV type vehicle. And it's just a testament to the Alfa Romeo's engineering and dynamics team, which a lot of them came from Ferrari, so they kind of know what they're doing. This thing is just fun to poon around all the time, though. And this is the fun part with the Stelvio. You really will enjoy the driving experience in this thing because it's just a fun day-to-day daily vehicle, and it's practical too. You can fit 4 or 5 people in here. The trunk isn't the biggest thing on the planet, but you can still shove some stuff in there, and you still get that same fantastic experience that you're going to get in like the Giulia in just a little bit more of a practical shape. And of course, if you want the Quadrifoglio with all that extra power, crazy acceleration, handling, performance, that's also on offer as well. They're pretty good deal used as well, even if you don't want to spend the $80, $90, $100,000 that they cost new. Just check the steering itself is just so twitchy, it's crazy. And it rewards you when you drive it more aggressively. You get an enjoyment out of it. You feel all the engineering, all that power is coming to work, and you can just feel it through your seat, through your hands on the steering wheel. It's just a fantastic experience that I just can't really get in other vehicles. And if there really are any complaints in here, it's gonna have to be with the technology. They have fixed pretty much everything else. The interior build quality is fantastic, really top notch. It feels like it's on the level with the Germans in here. There's no like cheap plastics or anything. This is all metal, great leathers and everything. But this screen, unfortunately, is just old. There's no other way to put it. It's just an old screen. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a launch here. I'm gonna go into not manual mode. Isn't the quickest thing to 60 on the planet, a mid 5-second-ish range. But it definitely gets you up to go and speeding. So you have 280 horsepower, like I said, 306 pound-feet of torque. Decent amount of power, very potent actually for this segment, which is really nice. Otherwise, I would like to see if they were able to put in like a mid-spec model or something, which they have not been able to do, and they never have done that, unfortunately. I really wish Alfa Romeo kind of made some kind of like M performance model or quadrifoglio light to kind of blend that gap there. I almost found that this engine and this whole powertrain likes to be driven more in manual mode than in automatic mode, which is just crazy to think. It gives you a much more rewarding and confident and connected driver experience. As you can see here, we have Apple CarPlay as well. That works fantastically. No issues really there. The only issue with the Apple CarPlay is that it's wired. At the end of the day, it's not the biggest thing. I just shove my phone in here and don't worry about it, but I wish they were able to put a wireless CarPlay system. It's 2024, it's a 2024 model year. This is a sort of a facelift, and it still doesn't have wireless CarPlay. Meanwhile, the cheaper Tonale does. That's just due to this head unit being an older system. They weren't able to change it for this one because they would have to do the whole dash all over again. They'd have to re-crash test the car because they would have to change structure and stuff. It would be too much, unfortunately, for Alfa Romeo. They just don't have, I believe, the money, I think, the liquidity to kind of burn on this vehicle, which we know, unfortunately, will be coming to an end within the next 2 to 3 years, and it will switch over to a new architecture for the future Giulia and Stelvio, and it will be, as far as we're concerned, I think, electrified, maybe full electric only. So that's a little bit sad that this could be the last gas Stelvio, the first and ever last gas Stelvio lineup. I wish they would have done a new generation with the ICE engines or combustion engines, because I think this whole platform has a lot of potential in it still. Yeah, guys, I just have been having such a blast with this Stelvio over the past week. Obviously, I wish Alfa Romeo dropped over one of the quadrifoglio models to test out. Hopefully, we can get one of those on the channel again in the near future. But it's sad that this car is eventually going to be going away soon and going the way of the EV or the electrification path, because it's just a fantastic, unique little SUV from Italy, and it's a great testament of kind of like the modern interpretation of what Alfa Romeo is capable of doing. And truly, I just keep wanting to drive it and drive it and drive it. And every time I get into it and drive it, I find something more to like about this just driving experience, which is wonderful. Like, even just today, I found a little bit more about driving this car. That's just so much fun. I really like that enjoyable, engaging experience with a new vehicle these days. And as always, guys, thank you for joining me on this full tour and review of the 2024 Stelvio Veloce with these minor little updates. And stay tuned for more coming on Allcarnews. I am going to shut up now and just drive, because that is what this thing is so much fun at.